Kevin Gates, 39, dating a 26-year-old, and he's not holding back. He's openly calling out washed-up women, dropping subliminal messages about his ex, and revealing exactly what he wants in a partner. Fans are speculating, rumors are flying, and the hints are crystal clear. But who is he really talking about? Is it Drea Gates, Brittany Renner, or someone else entirely? Today, we're breaking down every clue, every message, and every controversy behind Kevin's dating life. And trust me, you don't want to miss this. Kevin Gates, the 39-year-old rapper known as much for his candid personality as his musical talent, is currently in a relationship with a woman in her mid-20s. Over the years, Kevin has been very open about his romantic preferences, making it clear that he is drawn to younger women and that he has little interest in pursuing relationships with what he refers to as older, washed-up women. This is not just casual commentary. He has repeatedly expressed this perspective publicly, ensuring that his fans, and anyone who follows his personal life closely, understand his stance on age and attraction in the dating world. But Kevin Gates' approach to his relationships isn't limited to these surface-level preferences. Recently, he stirred conversation and controversy by dropping what many interpreted as a subliminal message aimed at a former long-term partner. While he didn't name anyone directly, his words were pointed and left little doubt that he was reflecting on past relationships, highlighting perceived issues, and asserting his standards for the kind of partner he wants now. In his message, Kevin spoke extensively about the work he's putting into himself, emphasizing a holistic approach that includes not just physical fitness but also mental and emotional growth. He described spending time at the gym, improving his body, and pushing himself to become stronger and healthier, but he also underscored the importance of mental discipline, self-awareness, and emotional resilience. Kevin presented himself as someone striving to evolve into the best version of himself, a person who doesn't settle for mediocrity, either in his own life or in the people he chooses to surround himself with. In his view, a relationship is a two-way street, and the energy he invests in his self-improvement deserves to be matched by the people he engages with romantically. This expectation is central to understanding his message. Kevin is not simply seeking a younger woman for superficial reasons. Instead, he is looking for someone who aligns with his values, ambitions, and lifestyle, someone capable of holding themselves to high standards as well. Kevin also reflected critically on his past relationships, suggesting that some former partners did not take care of themselves in the ways he values. He described situations in which partners projected their personal struggles or insecurities onto him, rather than addressing their own challenges, and he framed this as a form of imbalance or disservice in the relationship. From Kevin's perspective, mutual effort and accountability are essential. He implied that while he has been putting in the work to evolve physically, mentally, and spiritually, some of his past partners failed to prioritize self-care, personal growth, or emotional responsibility. This, he suggests, created a disconnect, one that he is unwilling to tolerate going forward. Kevin's remarks reflect a desire for reciprocity, where both partners contribute to the relationship in meaningful ways rather than leaning on one another for emotional labor without mutual engagement. Beyond these reflections on personal growth and mutual effort, Kevin expressed a deeper desire for care and respect in a partner, values that are rooted in family and tradition. He compared the type of woman he wants to the way his grandmother treated his grandfather, nurturing, attentive, and loving. This comparison reveals Kevin's vision for a relationship that goes beyond surface-level attraction or casual romance. He is looking for a partner who embodies integrity, respect, and care, someone who contributes positively to his life and supports the emotional and spiritual well-being of their partnership. Kevin's use of phrases like wanting someone who has not been rumbled in the jungle further illustrates his preference for women who are self-aware, emotionally balanced, and intentional about their relationships. He values a partner who honors themselves, protects their personal energy, and brings maturity and groundedness to the table. Kevin Gates' approach to relationships also emphasizes setting high standards without apology. He does not shy away from being candid about what he will and will not accept in a partner. By publicly articulating these standards, Kevin asserts a level of accountability not only for himself but also for the people he allows into his inner circle. He is unapologetic about his desire for a partner who prioritizes self-care, personal development, and mutual respect, someone who matches the effort he puts into his own growth. In this sense, his message is as much about self-empowerment as it is about romantic preference. It communicates a refusal to settle, a commitment to self-respect, and an expectation that relationships should enhance, rather than diminish, one's personal journey. Ultimately, Kevin Gates' public statements about dating and relationships offer a window into his broader philosophy of life. He is a man who believes in leveling up, continuously improving himself and refusing to accept stagnation in any area of his life. His candidness about what he expects in a partner may seem harsh to some, but it underscores his commitment to living authentically and demanding authenticity in return. In his eyes, relationships are not merely about companionship but are an extension of one's personal growth and energy. By prioritizing self-care, emotional maturity, and mutual respect, Kevin is shaping the kind of life and partnerships he wants to lead, relationships that are not defined by societal expectations or superficial standards but by meaningful connection, shared values, and mutual upliftment. In conclusion, Kevin Gates' current dating life, his reflections on past relationships, and his high standards for partners illustrate a deliberate approach to love and personal growth. While he openly favors younger women, his criteria go far beyond age alone. He seeks partners who reflect his dedication to self-improvement, who maintain their physical, mental, and emotional health, and who treat him with the kind of care and respect that mirrors the nurturing he experienced in his family. Through his candid, unapologetic statements, Kevin Gates emphasizes the importance of mutual effort, integrity, and personal responsibility in relationships, making it clear that he is committed to building connections that are as enriching and intentional as the life he continues to cultivate for himself. Kevin Gates continued, saying that the way a woman treats him, showing care, love, even small gestures like rubbing his feet, is what truly keeps him invested, and he refuses to be molded into someone else's idea of a partner. He made it clear that he isn't a yes-man type, joking about how he immediately gets cautious in intimate moments, showing that even gangsters have feelings. He emphasized that a woman's role is to nurture and maintain the relationship, not the other way around, insisting that he already brings his best to the table. Naturally, fans in the comments began speculating about whom he was referring to, noting that Kevin often expresses his thoughts indirectly, without naming names. Some suggested Brittany Renner, others speculated on the nuances of past relationships, and a few even made jokes or harsh critiques, reflecting how polarizing his statements can be. Amid the debate, people discussed everything from his intentions to his emotional openness, with some noting that his subliminal messages reveal lingering care or frustration. Ultimately, Kevin's words highlight his desire for a partner who matches his energy, shows genuine affection, and maintains self-respect, while fans dissect every hint for clues about his private life. Looking closer at the women in question, Drea Gates has mostly stayed out of the public eye in recent years, and she hasn't shared many new photos online, making it difficult to see her current appearance in detail. However, from the images and footage available over the past few years, it's clear that Drea has maintained her fitness, poise, and overall health. Whether it's through her workout routines, her style, or the way she carries herself publicly, she projects a sense of balance and self-care that aligns with a life focused on personal wellness. This consistency in her appearance and lifestyle has made it apparent that she continues to take care of herself, even if she prefers to do so quietly and outside of the spotlight. In contrast, Brittany Renner, who is now in her mid-30s, has been observed engaging in public activities such as playing soccer and participating in social events. Reports from onlookers and fans suggest that she appears exceptionally fit and vibrant, arguably looking better than many women decades younger, demonstrating that age alone does not define attractiveness or vitality. This comparison between Drea and Brittany highlights a broader point about Kevin Gates' comments. There is ongoing curiosity and speculation about whom he was actually addressing with his subliminal messages, and fans continue to analyze every hint he drops in his public statements and social media activity. At 39, Kevin Gates is at a stage in life where lifestyle choices, health, and vitality become increasingly important. As a high-profile musician with a physically demanding career, coupled with the natural effects of aging, maintaining stamina, energy, and overall well-being requires conscious effort. Kevin has often spoken publicly about his sexual prowess and his intimate life, frequently mentioning practices such as semen retention, which he attributes to maintaining vitality and performance. These discussions are part of his larger narrative about personal discipline, health, and self-improvement. Some observers have speculated that his recent comments about avoiding washed-up women are connected to these concerns, suggesting that he may be more selective in choosing partners who can keep up with him both physically and emotionally. The implication is that Kevin values women who are actively maintaining their health, understanding their bodies, and prioritizing self-care, not merely for appearance's sake, but for the overall energy and compatibility they bring to the relationship. Kevin's focus on fitness, vitality, and sexual energy also underscores a broader perspective on relationships and personal standards. He appears to measure compatibility not solely by age but by lifestyle alignment and shared values. Women who are attuned to their own physical, mental, and emotional health are more likely to match his expectations of reciprocity and personal responsibility. In contrast, he seems to have little tolerance for partners who neglect themselves, lack self-awareness, or fail to engage in self-improvement, suggesting that personal accountability is a non-negotiable component of his relationships. In his public statements, he has indirectly criticized past partners for projecting their own insecurities and challenges onto him rather than taking responsibility for their own well-being. These comments reinforce the idea that Kevin's approach to romance is tied to holistic compatibility. He values not only attraction and chemistry but also balance, maturity, and effort from both sides. Critics have offered different interpretations of Kevin Gates' attitude, with some suggesting that his vocal preferences for younger or highly active women may stem from personal frustrations or unresolved emotional issues. Others speculate that his focus on age and fitness might be tied to concerns about maintaining his sexual performance as he grows older, particularly given his frequent emphasis on sexual stamina and vitality. While these critiques provide one lens for understanding his behavior, they do not diminish the fact that Kevin's statements also reflect clear personal preferences, values, and lifestyle choices. For him, it seems, attraction is intertwined with a broader vision of compatibility, where partners who prioritize their own health, mental clarity, and self-awareness are more likely to thrive in a relationship with him. Beyond the physical and sexual aspects of his standards, Kevin Gates has also indicated a desire for emotional and spiritual alignment with his partners. Women who are in tune with themselves, who understand their own boundaries, desires, and emotional needs, appear to resonate with his expectations. This emphasis on self-awareness and personal accountability further explains why he might feel impatient with partners who do not demonstrate these qualities. In his view, a successful relationship requires not just chemistry but also mutual investment in personal growth and emotional resilience. The women who meet these criteria, whether Drea Gates or Brittany Renner, represent an ideal of partnership that combines independence, health, and maturity with openness, care, and mutual respect. In conclusion, Kevin Gates' comments about women, relationships, and personal standards reflect a complex intersection of preference, lifestyle, and personal philosophy. Looking at Drea Gates, who maintains a low profile yet consistently demonstrates self-care and fitness, and Brittany Renner, who remains active, healthy, and vibrant in her mid-30s, the question of who Kevin was targeting in his remarks continues to intrigue fans and observers. Some speculate that Kevin Gates' behavior may run deeper than just preferences for younger women. Rumors suggest he experienced challenges in his younger years that could still affect him emotionally. Meanwhile, Drea Gates appears fully focused on protecting her own peace. She has been performing spiritual practices like soul tie releases and cord cuttings, creating a drama-free, mindful life that keeps her above the public back and forth. This explains why she hasn't responded to Kevin's comments. She's already moved on, emotionally and spiritually, even if the divorce paperwork took time. That leaves Brittany Renner as the likely target of Kevin's recent subliminal messages. Unlike Drea, Brittany has been publicly linked to several high-profile relationships, and Kevin's remarks about women who are passed around seem to fit her narrative, suggesting his words were not directed at Drea but rather at someone with a more public dating history. Many observers and fans believe that Kevin Gates' recent subliminal messages were directed at Brittany Renner, especially considering the context of past relationships, social media speculation, and public commentary surrounding his romantic history. Brittany, who has been linked to several high-profile figures over the years, fits the profile that Kevin seemed to be alluding to with his comments about women who are passed around or have a history of multiple relationships. While he did not directly name anyone, his indirect remarks were pointed enough for fans and commentators to connect the dots, leading to widespread speculation that Brittany was the intended target. This scenario has sparked discussions online, with audiences analyzing every nuance of his statements, trying to piece together the backstory and figure out what prompted such remarks. The ambiguity of Kevin's messaging, his choice to speak indirectly rather than explicitly, fueled curiosity, debate, and sometimes criticism, which is not unusual given the attention his personal life commands. At present, Kevin Gates is dating Galini Tejada, a 26-year-old Dominican-American woman who is a former military member. Prior to her relationship with Kevin, Galini had been involved with the game, a fact that aligns with a recurring pattern in the rap industry, where romantic partners often transition between high-profile men. This dynamic is not unique to Galini or the individuals involved. It reflects a broader trend within celebrity culture, particularly in the music industry, where exposure, social status, and networking often intersect with romantic relationships. In these circles, it is common for women who are publicly visible or socially connected to date multiple influential men over time. And Kevin Gates' comments also highlight generational differences in dating behavior and sexual agency. While older generations often approach dating with more conservative expectations, younger generations have been socialized in an environment where personal choice, independence, and exploration are emphasized. Women today are more likely to prioritize self-discovery, professional goals, and personal growth alongside or even before committing to long-term relationships. This shift in priorities and behavior may contribute to the perception that younger women are more passed around simply because they are exercising autonomy and exploring their options. In Kevin's framework, however, this can be interpreted as a critique or judgment based on his personal standards, illustrating how individual expectations sometimes clash with broader societal trends. Ultimately, Kevin Gates' remarks fit within a larger conversation about modern dating dynamics, celebrity culture, generational differences, and societal attitudes toward women's sexual agency. By making these statements publicly, he has prompted discussions about how men in positions of power evaluate and judge women in their personal and romantic lives, and how those judgments intersect with social expectations. While critics may interpret his comments as overly judgmental or reflective of personal biases, supporters might argue that he is simply articulating his preferences and values as transparently as possible. Regardless, his statements illuminate the tension between personal desire, public perception, and evolving cultural norms, showing how celebrity relationships often serve as a microcosm for broader societal conversations about dating, autonomy, and respect. In conclusion, Kevin Gates' recent subliminal messages, combined with his relationship with Galini Tejada and past connections to figures like Brittany Renner, provide a compelling lens through which to examine modern dating dynamics and celebrity culture. They highlight how personal preferences, societal double standards, generational shifts, and public scrutiny all intertwine in the context of high-profile relationships. Kevin's comments underscore the challenges of navigating love, desire, and judgment in a world where every action is amplified by social media, and where the line between private preference and public expectation is constantly negotiated. They also prompt broader reflection on how society views women's sexual agency, the cultural narratives surrounding dating histories, and the ways in which individuals, particularly public figures, project personal ideals onto those they choose to love or critique. In today's world, many young women, particularly those in the modeling or influencer scene, are often labeled as passed around because of the lifestyles they lead, attending parties, events, and luxury trips where high-profile men spend money on them, often without anyone else accompanying them. This pattern isn't new, and it's not exclusive to any age. Some women may already have multiple experiences by 19 or 20, and some continue into their 30s or beyond. The type of women that rappers often pursue tend to fit this mold, moving through social and dating circles that highlight attention, glamour, and public visibility. While this isn't true for every woman, it explains why certain women become the focus of discussions about dating histories. In the end, these dynamics reflect a broader cultural conversation about dating, public perception, and the double standards placed on women in high-profile spaces.